Hello and welcome to this live stream of Mad About Sports. And today we are going to review the semi-finals, the two semi-finals. One is between Afghanistan and South Africa. Next one between India and England, which will take place tomorrow evening. So two back-to-back semi-finals. And most importantly, this is the main stage of the tournament. Four teams left, and obviously two teams who might just make the World Cup final for the first time. That is between Afghanistan and South Africa. These two teams have never made the World Cup final ever. And the other end, India versus England, a repeat of 2022. You also what happened in 2022. It was just bad and horrific memories for India. India would want to redeem themselves. So I have Antariksh joining me. But before we get into the today's stream, I just want you all to check out our course in Mad About Sports and Cricket Analytics. It's just for 199 rupees. You can fill in the Google form and check our course out because remember, guys, this could be a journey where you can work in your favorite cricket team or a sports firm because the lucrative salaries are pretty high over there and you can actually make a career out of that. So check out our course, fill in the Google form. Our team will get in touch with you. I have Antariksh joining me as I mentioned. Antariksh, semi-final time, right? Finally, this is where the tournament begins officially.
Absolutely, and so happy because, as you said, the tournament really begins here, and I
Yeah.
don't know whether it's the hunger to win a ICC trophy or whatever. Because
Yeah.
I've like n number of friends watching this, or passively watching this, if I should say, because the belief is so firm of two things: one, we're not going to win it, and two, we're certainly be in the semi-finals. So,
Yeah.
it's a very paradoxical situation कि यार जीतने तो है नहीं, पर देखेंगे हम
Yeah.
semi-final से ही. So we've sort of taken the semi-final berth for granted, and now let us remind each and every one that all right, we have not won this and that year, but New Zealand is out. Popat Pakistan is out. We have Australia that's out now.
Yeah.
We have the
The
Windies
West
that's out.
Indies are out. Yeah.
Exactly. So Sri Lanka, that's your call, but they're out. And obviously the associate nations. But just reminding that New Zealand, Australia, Pakistan, Windies, Sri Lanka, if we have a series with them any part of the year and we lose the series, I won't be surprised. That's the quality of the teams that we're talking.
Yeah. Agree.
Like, losing an odd game to chodo, even if we lose a series, I'll be like, all right, bad luck, India, and
Yeah.
well played to the other team. So to be reaching the semi-finals, it is not as obvious as we Indian
Yeah.
fans have made it. Although, having also said that, the groups that were assigned and the number of teams that were there, it sort of made things easy. But
Mm.
when you play so-called lower class teams or lower performing teams, the margin of error is very low. Because if you slip up against one of the lower end teams, then the
Mm.
pressure is so high for you to perform in one of the
Yeah.
classical games that it really gets to you. We saw this with
Absolutely.
Pakistan, right? How they fumbled the first one and then they could never really
Agree.
recover.
Of course.
So, absolutely. Again, with Australia, like how
Mm.
Afghanistan did them pretty well. So, that's that. But having said that, we're in the semi-finals. It's against England. Probably out of the three, this opposition I would have kept at number three in terms of my choice
Yeah.
facing them. But here they are. It's Afghanistan, South Africa, the other one. Let's see what happens.
I mean, you didn't mention about fumbling against a smaller team, and we are taking this for granted as well. That also you mentioned. I just feel, Australia is a clear cut example. They came into this tournament with a load of confidence, right? They were a little cocky about their chances. Like, if you ask Patrick Cummins, he was like, I know Australia are making it. I don't know about the other three. So for them to slip up and the way they did, that really sends in tremors that, it's not that easy to just qualify into semifinals as you think. You can lose one odd game, and especially when you have teams like Afghanistan, who's been possibly playing the best cricket they've ever played. Then you have a
Yeah,
Bangladesh who can pull out a surprise anytime because these pitches are not so conducive for T20 cricket, right? With these kind of pitches, what happens is your skill level is nullified. Like even a lower ranked team can defeat you on a given day because of the kind of pitches which is there in West Indies. Now that's where I feel somewhere down the line, yeah, we all are happy. But at the same time, Indian fans, being Indian fans, like our standards are so high that we've been seeing these losses for last 10 years, right? Since 2014, we have not had a trophy, and we've not made a T20 World Cup final since 2014. So all these things are there, and we lost the last two T20 World Cups in a very horrendous manner as well. So
yeah.
all these things are really like hitting on us. So finally, we want it to be delivered. Maybe that's the reason I feel. But I think we'll start off by talking about the Afghanistan South Africa game. Then we'll come to the
Yeah.
India England game. Afghanistan, man, what a story it's been, huh? I mean, it's beyond one's imaginations that they could make it to the semi-final. Now that they have, and the way they did, it's just outstanding, isn't it?
Absolutely, and the group that they were a part of, they saw, I guess, New Zealand getting eliminated, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, right. So the pool that they were in, let me say so. So I mean, it's not like that they were two of the obvious teams or stuff like that. I mean, they have dug up their place properly, and they had to work for it. And work ka sabse bada example is defeating Australia, and then not only defeating Australia, we know we've seen a lot of times, right? These associate nations or teams that don't usually play the most stylish brand of cricket don't usually get the results. Even if they do one upset, then in the game, which is a relatively easier one, we see them crumbling under pressure. We almost saw a glimpse of it when Afghanistan were batting. They were in their shell. Afghanistan is a team that even when they were a bit mediocre, just to begin with, when they were starting their journey, they were everything but in a shell. They were always very expressive, expansive, full of belief, full of excitement, full of passion for the game. But that day we saw a bit of timidness, and not
yeah,
just in terms of whether we belong here or not, but in terms of that we want to take the next step. Sort of like
yeah,
in India, right? In a final or something, just that pressure. And Ramanullah Gurbaz, I mean, his innings of 40 odd for 60ish balls was amplifying what was happening around. But when push came to shove, when the clutch time came, I mean, wow. Rashid Khan with the bat. Don't forget the bat. I mean, I was surprised. I was surprised there was a lad, I don't remember his name, and Mohammad Nabi who were sent before Rashid Khan. I
yeah.
feel if you're
They
not
sent
letting Rashid Khan play 20 balls, he's a waste.
Najib and Nabi ahead of Rashid, and I that's
Yeah.
something they've
Yeah.
been doing
Mohammadi
so
Naib
often.
came. Then there was a new lad. Then Nabi came. Najib, exactly. So I was like very shocked. You have to let Rashid Khan play at least 20 balls, right? Bring him
Agreed.
in the 14th, 15th over. Whether he plays or not, that's to be seen. But for him to hit sixes in the ease he does, it's just phenomenal.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got a question from Michael Andrew, which is I've seen it all for last 10 years. Now the question is, which one is your favorite ICC trophy knockout loss? I don't think there's a favorite ICC trophy
Favorite
knockout.
ICC trophy to lose?
I think he's asking which one is your favorite ICC trophy knockout loss thus far.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one, man. I mean, there's no favorite. I would say one hurts the most for me.
Favorite.
I think 2023 World Cup final should hurt the most.
Uh, I mean, pata nahi, you can't say. Maybe I'd say it doesn't pain me much. Sri Lanka versus India, the final that we lost, ठीक है.
Yeah,
That it was, but
because
still,
we had just won ICC trophy a year before. We didn't know what was to follow for next 10 years.
exactly, both are because the West Indies one hurts a lot, right? It was
Yeah,
in India. The
yeah.
England one hurts a lot, still hurts. Then
I
the
think for
Pakistan
me, I would
Champions
say
Trophy,
2015 ICC World Cup semi-final against Australia. That kind of hurts me because you know why?
exactly.
I really thought going to Australia and doing the kind of job we did, we were like 8 games unbeaten or something, and to lose to that team when I really thought we could have chased it that day. Yeah, that really hurts. And as you mentioned, 2016 Virat Kohli peak form. Oh man, maybe if you'd have gone to the final, we'd have won it.
Yeah, and I remember against West Indies, it was Virat Kohli who was bowling the last over, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
and it was just so bad. I think it was Jadeja or someone who got Simmons out or someone, but
yeah,
it was a no ball. I think two times or Ashwin, if I
yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah. It
correctly.
was Ashwin and Bumrah, like
Oh
crazy.
God, like
I mean,
that.
Ashwin, Hardik Pandya. I remember that.
Right, Hardik Pandya. Right.
Yeah,
So that was pretty painful. So I believe maybe just due to the recency of our World Cup win, I believe it was Sri Lanka, and it's okay. It's sweet. It's not so sweet, but yeah, sort of revenge for them. So happy days.
absolutely.
But little did we know that we would go on a string of knockout losses, man. I mean, that India
Okay,
Pakistan, bro. Just
Waleed
thinking about
asked,
all of those losses.
can it be Afghan's 1983 moment? Pretty interesting comparison.
Bro, Waleed, bro, I'm really excited. You guys have a series against Bangladesh, and BCCI has given a nod for it to happen in Noida. So I'll be there. I'll be there
Yeah,
in at
yeah,
least one
yeah.
of the games.
Noida. So I saw someone's tweet saying that हमारा local team qualify हो गया semi-final में.
Yeah. And it's true. You ask any Indian, Afghanistan is their second favorite team. I mean, you ask
No,
any
but
Afghan.
not for people who stay in Noida, it's a local team because that's
Yeah,
where the
yeah,
home ground
exactly. हमारा club semi-final में आ गया. So yeah,
and
that's
love
that's
from
nice.
Kabul. Tomorrow morning, Afghan win, trust in Rashid. So we've got a lot of Afghan people joining us tonight. Yeah, good luck to you guys, man. Good luck to you guys. But coming back to South Africa now. Afghanistan, one end, they have all the momentum in the world to just carry them forward. But South Africa,
People are
right?
sleeping a bit on South Africa, right?
Yeah,
There's
people
not
are
much talk.
quiet. People are taking South Africa quite easy. But can you believe it, Antriksh? They played what 7 games this tournament. Every of their 7 games went to the last over, maybe except for the first game against Sri Lanka. Every of them went to the last over. All the games were a last ball finish or like a 1 run win, 2 run win, a 1 wicket win. That's the kind of finishes they've had. And South Africa have never finished these crunch games in World Cup. Now, this World Cup, there's a tide which is pushing them to win these close games. Do you think that's the exact tide which South Africa wanted?
I mean, if I'm a fan and I'm winning convincingly, I won't be the most excited because we've seen South Africa do this before. We've seen them winning convincingly, and then when it matters the most, they slip up. South Africa picking themselves up in a World Cup in crunch situation, however, does excite me a bit. And you're right, if they get sort of that knack of getting over the line, the first priority, with no disrespect to anyone, should be not being in a situation that they have to be on the line to finish the game. With all due respect, I think on paper they should be a bit hefty for Afghanistan, but in terms of the spirit that the other team is carrying, they have to be very very, and I'm sure they will be. But it's just about getting over the line, as you said. Skill level, you know what, and I liked this World Cup, especially after IPL. This is such a big good break. I don't want 300s and 250s to be scored, please. I was so happy, I'd have been way happier had the other part of the World Cup, this part of the World Cup also happened in USA. I would have loved 98 getting chased down on the last ball, 110 being defended and stuff like that. So I would have loved it. But anyways, having said that, you've as you've mentioned, the skill level is a bit neutralized on this pitch. But I think what has overtaken is the experience, is the proficiency of you being in specific situations.
Hmm.
uh, my god, I mean, we have some good banter today, right? I mean, that's not happened of late, but yeah, there's
Yeah,
good banter.
yeah. I think it's the timing of our stream as well because there's a
That's
time when
nice.
a lot of people joins in late night, just chilling to watch YouTube. So yeah, that's good. We've got people. I think Dwayne, I believe, is a South African supporter, I believe, and he says KG smoking Taliban. But nonetheless, it's good to see people joining from other countries. That's something which we love having. And thank you all for joining the stream as well. Do subscribe if you're new here. That really helps. That's with the algorithms and boost up our stream and giving you good content. But yeah, coming back to this again, Aiden Markram's captaincy. Right, this guy has won it all in the short career he's had captaincy. He's like won two SA20s back to back. Under 19 World Cup. The only ICC trophy which South Africa has is the Under 19 World Cup. So they won it all in very short period of time. How do you see this, Aiden Markham, the captain? Do you think he's been a little bit more calmer? He knows how to captain in comparison with a lot of other captains. He's got the habit and knack of winning. That really helps.
He has, and that's a very good knack as a captain. If you can get your team over the line consistently in situations that were 50-50, that speaks a lot, because a couple of times it could be a fluke here and there, but more often than not, if you can keep doing that, then that's a good knack to have. So yeah, you're right. He sort of climbed the stairs of being a good captain pretty fast and pretty easily. So yeah, I mean, he'd really want this final, right? To be playing against India or England, it's going to be big for them. South Africa, Afghanistan, obviously, but teams like South Africa, who've not been in this situation, that's too cocky, man. But I understand the reference, but that's too cocky. So yeah, um, so yeah, as I was saying that. That of course Afghanistan's pretty happy to be here, but more than that, it's teams like South Africa, have not been in winning situations, who have not gotten over the line in these tournaments. Really, really pumped, and I could see India versus South Africa. I mean, choker final, by choker
Yeah.
final, joker final. I don't know. So yeah,
I mean, India or South Africa will be. the perennial chokers versus the recent chokers. Like who
Yeah,
gets the
I
greatest
think
choke?
we'll have 5-6 super overs. किसी को जीतना ही नहीं है. No one wants to win. Get that tag of them. So yeah.
I won't be surprised if that game gets washed out by rain also. I feel that
Ah,
luck
yeah.
because
Is
one
the
team has got
trophy
a
still
World Cup in
shared,
the world.
or does one team win a trophy?
I think if it gets washed out on the reserve day, then it goes to the team which is stopped. Then I think South Africa might just, I don't know, it looks into run rate and all this stuff because both of the
Arre
teams
baap
are
re.
unbeaten. It's weird. I think South Africa might
If it
just,
gets shared, it's not really nice because people don't even remember that we shared a trophy with Sri Lanka, a Champions
yeah,
Trophy with Sri Lanka, and it's almost like we don't even count it. So, nah. Yeah, we'd want it there.
absolutely. And I think this is where, hi, I'm the director of English cricket. Okay, Rob Key. Pretty interesting. So yeah, you mentioned about Aiden Markram, but another player, who's everybody talking about is, Gurbaz. Because if you look at Afghanistan's batting lineup, it's just been a two-man batting lineup, right? When Ibrahim Zadran and Gurbaz clicks, the team looks great. But when they both don't, it's a team which really falls apart. And this team
Yeah.
really believes that they can score 140s and 150s and defend as well. I think Afghanistan's best chance is batting first and finishing the game there.
Yeah, absolutely, and but that's going to be a bit challenging here. I believe, of course, the wind's going to play a big part. As it has been, and the one thing that has been really great has been that they've utilized that wind a lot to their sort of benefit, right? Wherever the wind's blowing against it, they try to either hand their left hander or their right hander, either Noor or Rashid accordingly, because then the longer side of the boundary gets away from the body of the batsman, and then they try to bowl a bit wide, and
Yeah,
that's what sort of causes. And then Rashid, being Rashid, he has a lot of variations. He bowls two balls a bit wide and slow, and then he goes with a drifter, and yeah, it's always a bit difficult for the batsman to pick that one. So yeah, you're right. I believe too that I wouldn't want, if I'm an Afghan fan, I wouldn't want us to feel the pressure of even chasing 150, even 145, 150, because then it becomes a bit tricky, especially if the pitch is not playing properly for the batsman. But I could actually back Afghanistan even defending 135, 140, because we've seen what they
absolutely.
can do, and the three quality spinners that they have. Of course, Nabi also bowls a lot. I mean, people sometimes disregard him, but I believe, he's the best least skillful finger bowler. Like, I mean, I don't know if you got what I meant, but in
Mhm.
terms of his experience, that's his skill.
Yeah,
Like we used to play back in the day in our parks and stuff. We didn't we had no swing, we had no spin and
yeah,
stuff. But जो ball का जहाँ टप्पा पड़ता था, the point where the ball bounced, the batsman could neither go forward nor could he go back for the cut. That's the
yeah,
exact spot Nabi always hits. And the way he drifts the ball in. I mean, those two things, I believe, just make him a very good bowler,
absolutely,
especially in these conditions.
absolutely. Robkey says it's coming home. Elisa De Silva asked us, "Is Rugby World Cup semi-final?" No, it isn't. It isn't Rugby World Cup semi-final. We talk about cricket here. I think India should play Sanju instead of Dubey, is what Nabil Mohammed says. I think yeah, we will get into India versus England now. I think South Africa versus Afghanistan. Who do you have your money on before we go to the next game?
Afghanistan, man, for sure.
Okay,
Afghanistan, I
it's
have to
Noida,
back them.
local team, and Antariksh has
Absolutely.
complete all money on the local team.
Absolutely. मैं दिल्ली से हूँ. I support the NCR team, man.
Yeah, so yeah, obviously, it's a local club of Antariksh. You'll be there in Noida supporting the local team. Bigger celebration in Noida than in
We
Kabul, I
might
believe.
get a trophy felicitation in Noida. We might
Yeah,
get it.
if not India, at least one team.
Another blue
It'll be
wins it.
scenes if that happens. If India doesn't bring the trophy and Afghanistan does, we're happy now. We have
Imagine the trophy has come to India. Imagine that. But not
yes.
to the Indian team.
I mean,
Amazing.
to be very honest, that's going to be pretty crazy scenes. But you already saw the kind of response for them qualifying to semi-final. I mean, I've never seen a lot of people being happy about their secondary team being qualified into a semi-final of sorts. It was like the world stopped for a minute just to congratulate Afghanistan and that feat, and that was possibly one of the iconic moments in cricket history. If you look, 14 years into world cricket and a T20 World Cup semi-final, we're talking about teams who have been playing cricket for 25, 26 years who have never made it into the World Cup semi-final.
Zimbabwe
So
को देख लो यार. They're such an agitating team. I'm so sorry to say that.
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh still, once in a year they do an upset and here and there, but Zimbabwe, they looked so promising, yeah. Like with all of those lads, when Chatara, their bowler, Irvine, Sean Williams, I mean, Masakadza of the olds, but still, I mean, जब फिर सिकंदर रजा आया, I was like, they have to click, and many of them are still playing, by the way. So, but I don't know,
They
they've
should have
just
made the
never clicked.
T20 World Cup, but they lost to Uganda. Like, can you believe it? Like,
Exactly.
there's a team which defeated Pakistan in the last T20 World Cup of sorts. So that's weird. Pakistan loses to anybody. That's another thing. Pakistan will have a customary loss to any other team. But let's talk about India versus England. I mean, this fixture kind of gives me trauma. I've still not recovered from that 170 loss. I think one of the first videos I did for Mad About Sports when I joined was India versus England semi-final review, and it's still there on our channel. You guys can go check it out. My I just want to recover from it tomorrow, guys, and it's about time that we do it. What do you think about this fixture? It's genuinely not an easy fixture. Now, this should be the hardest because they are the defending champions. They're the best white ball team in this era.
Oh, it's a difficult game, man. Matlab, I डर लग रहा है मुझे, and a lot of people I see online and stuff, they are praying for a washout. They are praying कि हमें मैच ही नहीं देखना कल. We're happy watching the Afghanistan South Africa game, and it's fine. We take a washout, and that really tells, this जो डर है एक इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम फैन में, एंड how much we value the opposition and how much we rate them. But I mean, of course, we're all supporting India, and that goes, as is. But the thing is, ki you can never predict these games. Like even if
Yeah,
like whatever the opposition, yeah, matlab it's two 50-50, right?
yeah,
It's two great teams going up against each other. T20 specialists filled, all
yeah,
around the park, and just it's hopefully if it's not a washout, hopefully it's a proper 20 game. I really wouldn't want even England to get knocked out, like they're batting first and then it's Duckworth Lewis and then stop start. That really is a bit scrappy and stuff. Hopefully if there's no washout, we have a proper 40 over game, a good contest, not one sided. Let's hope for that.
okay, so I'll give you some stats for this game. It's possibly one of the lowest scoring grounds in Caribbean islands, with the average first inning score of 144 and second inning score of 133 in day games. So the stark contrast is during day games, the average scores are below 150, and during night games, it goes up to 160. It's obviously night games are easier to bat on, but if you look, this is the toughest ground, especially when it comes to scoring runs. So we can expect a low scoring affair. It's going to turn. It's going to keep low. It's going to be. Don't expect going into this game. It's going to be a 200 game like we had against Australia. Get ready for a 120, 140 kind of a game where it's going to be last over finish kind of a game. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I think it'll happen. And in this kind of scenario, until Sri Lanka and India are better placed because English players against spin, we all know what can happen. And once it stops, once they don't play on truer surfaces, they can be really tested.
Hopefully. To be honest, our middle order has played a bit, I mean, on the good side against in this tournament. But before this, I mean, we ourselves have been found a bit wanted, against spinners like off late for the past 2.5 years. So unka to theek hai. They're expected to maybe not perform at the best level, but Hamara, I mean, they have two quality spinners, at least, Moin Ali and Adil Rashid. Are they playing a third spinner?
Yeah, no, they also play Liam Livingston as a third spinner, as a partner.
Okay, yeah. So at least Adil Rashid, like he's a magician with the ball. I mean, he drifts it, he throws it hard, he knows how to turn, he can, his wrong one is pretty great and stuff. So I really want Surya Kumar Yadav to step up again. Like he has stepped up a couple of times, and I think he's our best bet against spin. I would have said Shivam Dubey, but his form is a bit for now. So that's that. But yeah, I mean, and King Kohli भैया ने तो सारे रन IPL में ही मार दिया. I think he
Yeah,
emptied his tank there. So let's hope maybe he can get into the mix
I
as
mean,
well.
it's
But
about time he does. If he does well, India does well for sure. So hoping that he does well because this is the time that he steps up because it's when we need him
exactly,
the
and I
most.
feel and I feel the Kuldeep Joss Butler battle is going to be interesting. They are really counterparts. They're like either Joss Butler hits that famous straight six of his, or he gets out to the wrong one. Like all I
Yeah,
all I have is two visions of Josh Butler against Kuldeep.
yeah.
Either edging, top edging his wrong one while going for the slog,
I think he
or just
balled a
picking up his
crazy ball to Josh Butler in the 50 over World Cup,
yeah
which pitched
yeah
outside the off
bold
stump to the gate. Oh, that was one amazing dismissal. So
yeah
Kuldeep has got better of England throughout his career. And Phil Salt Antariksh, another big player, you know about him when he plays for KKR. And he's a serious player. He can turn the game away in his own will. And you saw how England played against USA. They
yeah.
look like they're peaking. And with Jofra bowling well, with Chris Jordan picking up a hat trick, now Adil Rashid bowling well, that team is cooking at the right time.
It is, and there's a big reason that they're why they're here. And you're absolutely right, Chris Jordan. It seems like after decades he's back properly. They have this guy called I forgot his name, Reece Topley, right?
Yeah, he's
Does he play?
yeah, he's playing.
Yeah, so he's their T20 specialist. So he's one. Adil Rashid, as you've mentioned, he's there.
Jofra is
So
bowling well.
yeah, sorry,
Jofra Archer is bowling well.
exactly, Jofra Archer, of course. So yeah, absolutely. They are in top form, and they have a good batting lineup, as you mentioned. Phil Salt, really scared of him. What I don't know, Gigi told him or whatever, but he has taken this approach to the England squad as well, wherein he doesn't stop. He doesn't, he has no breaks. All he does is he's sort of that Brendan McCullum sort of a
Yeah,
player now, right? He looks
yeah.
to thrash at the top or nothing. He doesn't run
But
and
that's why I
stuff.
really hope Bumrah strikes early,
Yeah,
because Bumrah will be our weapon against
slower
them.
ball with the new ball. That is
Yeah,
something I believe. Even Travis Head sort of fell for that, not for the new ball, but that. So I mean, I could see that happening. I could see Bumrah bowling a couple of slower balls in his first over, or at least in his second over,
yeah,
if at all we get smacked around.
absolutely. I think that's going to be one interesting game to watch. But about our batting, especially, are you happy with the way in which we are batting right now? Especially Rohit Sharma has shown some good signs. I hope those are signs for his continuation, and this is where we really need him the most to really score big.
Yeah, and I hope Kohli looks to break the shackles as well, right? I mean, if Rohit is going hammers and tongs, it isn't necessary that Kohli has to be the conservative one, because he's already way into his shell and he's not gotten runs. A few cover drives, a few lofted drives here and there maybe could start his engine up a bit, because we know even if Kohli goes going, Rohit Sharma would still play his natural game, because he's just taken that intent now. We know, maybe not for Mumbai Indians, but we know Rohit Sharma in an Indian jersey, whatever the format,
Yeah,
even in Test cricket, if not with this strike rate, but he like जब तक अब रोहित शर्मा दिखेगा हमें till his retirement, he'll be this. Like that
yeah,
is that is certain now, because it's been a yearish now, and he's just been this player. So
absolutely.
really happy. I mean, at the age when people are thinking, oh, ये तो batsman बहुत conservative हो जाते हैं, maybe we need some fresh. I think he's the fresh blood in the team, which is so
Yeah.
surprising. He is
I
the
mean, when your
fresh blood.
captain plays such a way, I think it really helps. And one thing I
It
really
does.
like the way how India has taken that approach of keeping team first ahead of individual milestones, and that really works well. When finally it's a
Rohit
breath of
Sharma
fresh
does that.
air.
If there is
Not
one
to
player
mention, I
able,
think everybody in this tournament has done that. No, we don't care about 50s. I don't think we have anybody in the top run getters in this tournament, and
yeah,
we've
yeah.
just been
I
a
mean,
good
team to
team.
associate nation के ही हैं, so yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. I mean, we don't need that top run getter. We need to put the team first. It was about time that we did it. And if you
I
look,
think they know Gautam Gambhir is coming. That's why.
yeah, possibly. I mean, Gautam Gambhir is very clear with his intentions as well, right? It's always putting the team first. You gotta no, it doesn't matter how many runs you score as an individual if you can't get the team over the line. So that's one thing India have taken. A lot of 30s and 20s we've seen, especially in the Bangladesh game, for example. We had like 5 30s and not a single 50, except for Hardik's 50. But we still got 197, right? That's all
Yeah, yeah,
T20
yeah.
game is all about. I mean, I think KKR is a clear cut example of how they played this IPL, right?
Yeah,
They never had some big innings. They always had these 30s and 20s, which really got them
yeah.
over the line. And that's the approach which India would want to take as well. But before we end the stream, your prediction on this game?
India,
India will
India,
win
India, 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 India for sure. And
100%.
not just the way because I'm an Indian fan, but I just believe that जीतेंगे at
I
the
just
end.
have I just have a little bit more confidence in this World Cup. I thought 2023, we all knew we would. But that day we all went nervous. We were like, it's Australia. But if Afghanistan was the India final, the trophy is coming India anyways.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So we have a 50% chance of having the trophy in India. So
Yeah.
ठीक है. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's about it from us, guys. Thank you, Antariksh, once again for this stream. Thank you for joining, and thank you all for interacting with us today as well. I hope you all have subscribed to our channel and shared this video with as many people as possible so we can keep bringing you this content. And also check out our course with Mad About Sports on cricket analytics just for 199 rupees. It's a 7-day workshop. You can fill the Google form and a team will get in touch with you. Have a good night, all of you. See you all very soon. Bye bye.